What's up, BYB Nation? It's the big guy here. And I got a letter here from one of our fans, and it was an interesting letter. It kind of took me a little sideways here, and it goes, "Dear big guy, I've been a fan since season 3. I've always enjoyed your show, and I have really enjoyed your transformation as this show has grown over the years into what it is today. It looks really good and really professional. But I was wondering, how would your show look as an 80s cable access show?" Well, I would think it would go something like this. Totally awesome, dude, because you have found the BYB Insider. I'm your host, the big guy, alongside the insanely expensive BYB-inator 500. That's right, the 500, baby, at $14,000. Wish all the kids could afford it, but unfortunately you can't, but we can. Totally awesome, dude. And that's going to do it for that. Because we're not looking backwards, we're looking forwards. This is progressive, and this is the internet's #1 favorite show. You have found the BYB Insider, and I'm your host, the big guy. So it's weeks 8 and 9, kiddies. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? And as there's only 6 weeks remaining, who's getting into playoff position? And whose dreams of Dina are going to go up in smoke? We're going to find out this week. We're going to dive into week 8 action. Here we go. All right, kiddies, we start in McConnell with the UPS and the McConnell Mud Dogs as we dive inside the box score. Aaron Rodgers and Frank Gore with great games, but Jared Allen didn't score any, and you know, Tommy might have done better if he got a kicker. But it really wouldn't have mattered anyway when Calvin Johnson goes off for 49 points. And when you get scores like that, it makes it difficult to win as the UPS boys crushed the Mud Dogs 144-95. We have the Guild and the Monstars. Let's dive inside the box scores. The Monstars scoring big with Cam Newton's 31, but Sidney Rice, he found the ambulance wagon, and the defensive side and the kickers barely registered, and it opened the door up for the Guild as Jamal Charles, Demarius Thomas led the way with good defensive scores as well as the Guild slide by the Monstars 119 to 105.5. We're moving on. It's the Machine and Charlie Brown's team Let Me Kick. For Let Me Kick, somebody send out the search party for Tom Brady, please. But no Sean Moreno and leading the charge there, but in the end, it really didn't matter as Mike Vick found his way to the infirmary, and it landed the Machine in Painesville 128.5 to 117.5. We're moving on. It's Jared Taylor's Cobra Kai and the Hail Marys as we dive inside the box score. Drew Brees, 43, was great, but the rest of the team didn't show up. And on the flip side, Tony Romo leading a cavalcade of scoring. Jimmy Graham there with 18 as the Cobra Kai's decimate them 121.5 to 116. And now for the game of the week, presented by Pyrotech. It's the Mudford 3 and Outs who is looking to get inside first place, facing the Black Angels. For the Black Angels, great scores by Peyton Manning, but LaShawn McCoy and Steven Jackson, not so much. As Russell Wilson came through, but it was Robert Quinn 17 that would put the 3 and Outs over the Angels and send them to the Pain Shack. 112.5 to 105.5. So as we barreled into week 9 with the heartbreaking loss by the Prestige Worldwide, they saw their lead in the BYB standings dwindle. But as they rolled into week number 9, they had a favorable matchup. But as sometimes we figure out here in the BYB, sometimes favorable matchups just don't pan out. As we dive into week 9 action, who's going to come out? Here we go. And as we dive into week 9, kiddies, it is the before mentioned Prestige Worldwide and the Machine as we dive inside the box scores. And the Machine, they came prepared as the whole team pretty much got great scores. On the flip side, Larry Dameron got some good help, but unfortunately Jordan Cameron and RG3 fell off the face of the planet. And so did Prestige, as they have lost 2 in a row, 120.5 to 115.5. We're moving on. It's the Black Angels and the McConnell Mud Dogs as we fly inside the box scores. Chris Johnson with a great game, but Aaron Rodgers, more horrific bad luck for the Mud Dogs. And it really wouldn't matter what they scored when Nick Foles steps in as the substitute and throws 7 touchdown passes. 1 point off of the BYB record as the Angels wreck the Mud Dogs 147.5 to 92.5. It's Charlie Brown's team, Let Me Kick, and the Cobra Kai as we dive inside the box scores. The Cobras led by Tony Romo. Great scores there. T.Y. Hilton and Jimmy Superstar Graham, big 30 scores. But on the flip side, Arian Foster died, and so did everybody else. And so did Let Me Kick as they get thrashed 161 to 89. It's the Mobstars and the Hail Mary. We're in the box scores. Phillip Rivers with a great game. Pierre Thomas, 16 points, but the bottom half was about as shifty as my editing there. All right, rock on. Drew Brees leads the charge. You see the big scores there, and it led to the Marys cruising with ease, 135 to 108. And now we have the Mudford 3 and Outs, and boom, just go white. Mark Muncy on a roll. Will it continue? Well, on that, Darren McFadden dying, and on the bottom, it boded well. And for the 3 and Outs, Russell Wilson scored big, but when you get 49 from Andre Johnson, it makes anyone tough to beat as the 3 and Outs roll on. 144 to 96.5. And to our game of the week. It's the Guild of Calamitous Intent and UPS. UPS looking to grab a share of first place with a victory, but the Guild won in. And with scores like that, well, it's kind of difficult. Flip it. And on the other side for the UPS, well, they're not doing themselves any favors as they failed to show up, and the Guild get by 102.5 to 75.5. So as week 9 wraps up, we're going to bring in the insanely expensive BYB-inator 5000, and let's take a look at the standings. And as you may expect, Larry Dameron has some company now up at the top as the UPS boys have climbed their way back to a tie in the top spot with Mark Muncy? You got it, kiddies. And it goes to show you anything can happen in the BYB because Mark Muncy is tied for first place. Wrap your brains around that. And as you're wrapping your brains around that, I'm wrapping up this episode. So that's it. We're done. We'll catch you on the flip side. Should be an interesting couple of weeks. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.